What I want to show here for drip irrigation is one of the most basic premises that people get wrong with drip irrigation, and I hope this shows it clearly. So what you see here are some spots that I soaked, and you see these wet spot, wet spot, wet spot over here. But what you should notice is all the dry area in between the wet spots. This is really critical, and this is why drip irrigation fails a lot of plantings, especially in severe soils and strong heat in inland areas like I live in. If you've got strong high temperatures in the summer, what happens is that this soil that's here is so dry and so hard that the roots that moved into this area during the winter are now in stress. This soil is so hard that they literally are being strangled by the soil itself. The roots that are back here at the core where the plant was planted, after 1 year, most of the feeding roots that do most of the work for your plant have moved out to the perimeter, and each year they move out a little further. So what happens is that during the winter, when the soil is nice and moist, everything's fine and dandy, but that's not when the plant is under the most duress in terms of the environment. That comes during the summer when the temperatures are higher and the plant is transpiring a lot of water and really needs to be able to consume the water throughout its root system. The problem becomes is these dry areas where most of the roots have migrated out to along the drip line of the plant are devoid of water. And that's why most drip systems fail. Plain and simple is that the water does not, the wet spot does not grow with the plant. It stays stationary and nobody ever goes back and moves the emitters to the perimeter. That in itself, that basically captures why most drip systems fail, is they're static and they don't think like a plant. The plant doesn't know any boundaries, and when there's moisture out here during the fall especially, and the roots are still actively spreading, they can move out into this area. So summer comes, there's no rain in our area for 5 months, in a lot of California more than 5 months, and now the plant is relying on what little bit of water is being dumped at its crown. So proportionate to the size of the plant, there's two things. There's not enough water you can add there for a plant that has moved way out to the perimeter. And secondly, that water is not in the right location anymore. It should be out here along the edge of the drip line of that plant that would be here, and for it to do most of its good. So that's why when you have an area that has hard soil like this especially, but also warm conditions where you know that larger plant is going to push roots out into this zone, you need a method of delivering water that's going to allow for that growth in that plant. And that's when you need to look at spray irrigation or some other type of irrigation that can deliver water out to the perimeter of the drip line of the more mature shrub. So one of the ways to do that is to know that as the plant matures, it will share water with neighboring irrigation. So what do I mean by that? In this case, there's a lawn area, and this line of shrubs was planted on drip over here. But what happened was as that plant matures and during the wet season, these roots were able to cheat their way into the lawn, which is fine. They're not an aggressive root or a problem. And now they're sharing water with the lawn. They're getting the nutrients from fertilizing and the more regular water. And what you have is a very happy shrub that was established on drip. And then over time, the drip as well as the lawn irrigation has made this a very happy, large hedge.